important that we get them on the broadcast so people know what's going on.
You don't have anything else? Need a motion to approve the consent, unless those two items.
Second.
Roll call?
Anderson,
Yes.
Lane,
We did item 4, I'd like to call attention item 7, and the promotion of Dustin Bjornson from sergeant to lieutenant. This is at the recommendation of Chief Kendig, and lots of conversations have happened, and we congratulate Dustin on that promotion. Item 4, consider motion to approve resolution 2016-79, updating fees charged by the city of Polk City. Anything in particular you want to call attention to on that?
No, I just think it needs to be clarified and pointed out exactly what they are, so we won't hear later on, well, how come I didn't know that?
I will do my best here. This is just an update of a resolution that was passed in 2009, I believe. Thank you, Jenny. And all we're doing is updating the prices. The public works equipment cost has gone up, labor's gone up, mileage still remaining with the IRS. Police video and DVD copies are something that the DVD was there. Video copies now we can make. That was not offered. The cost for our municipal code on CD, if you don't want to get it online. Color copies we could not provide before, now we do. And black and white and electronic copies, and fees for retrieval. This all came about when a company wanted to get all of our cellular leases on the water tower so they could turn around and tell us how much they could buy them for, and they would take over the water tower. And I don't know how you folks feel, but depend on that water, and I sure don't want a third party dealing with the water tower. We figured that was going to take us about an hour and a half to put everything together that they wanted. And we have not heard back from them since, but as we was going through that exercise, we noticed that our prices were extremely low as to what is actually on the docket right now. So that is the reason for that, Councilman Anderson.
Thank you.
I would think that we should probably be looking at those every couple of years rather than waiting that long. Take a motion to approve. Resolution 2016-79. Apologize.
Oh, yes, sir. Second.
Roll call.
Anderson,
Yes.
Lane,
Yes.
Dvorak,
Yes.
Mordini,
Yes.
Sarchet.
Yes.
Item 8, consider motion to approve proposal for professional services for the police department renovation with Big Creek Design Group, Inc. in the amount of $15,000. Do you want to speak to that?
That was the only proposal we received from the firms that Gary solicited proposals from. And we had Gary probably speak there, some revised liability insurance wording we requested for them, they provided right away. And that would be the cost would be up to $15,000 for them to prepare as-is drawings and new drawings and a bid to do the remodel.
Looks like we sent it out to 4 firms.
Yes, correct.
Yes, and I think that's important too, that the people know we sent it out to four suppliers, get prices. We went with local. I think that's important, that people should know that also, and I just wanted that for the record, so thank you.
Take a motion on item 8.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Dvorak,
Yes.
Mordini,
Yes.
Sarchet,
Yes.
Anderson,
Yes.
Lane.
Yes.
Motion carries. Item 6 is new business under item 6, action item number 1. Public hearing for consideration of petitions for voluntary annexation from owners of the following properties located north of Northwest Hug Drive. Do I need to?
You can take these.
One by one, so can we
Yes.
just go into a public hearing right now then?
Yes.
Okay, perfect, that's what I want to know. Is it time to, it's time to close the regular meeting and open the public hearing on the voluntary annexation of the property for Sally Jensen and MJR Developments? Ask the clerk when the notice is published.
August 26th.
Any written comments for or against?
Yes, sir, we received one written comment. Actually, it's not for or against, but it was a comment. Property owners nearby, the Childs, they did not want to be considered for annexation, but they do not oppose or they don't care about the other, they just didn't want to be involved.
Okay. This time I'll ask staff to provide a report.
These two together, the Sally Jensen and MJR Developments, are part of what has always been called the Sally Jensen Farm. It's up on the northwest side of Hug Drive. Together, it comprises of about 66 acres. The excuse this is a 100% voluntary annexation. So, following the public hearing, the decision by the council will become final once filed with the Secretary of State. Notices have been sent out to all utilities and to all governmental bodies that would be impacted with this, township and supervisors, and no negative comments.
Is anyone present who wishes to be heard for or against the annexation? Hearing none or seeing none, I need a motion to close the public hearing and reopen the regular meeting.
So moved.
Roll call.
Sarchet?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Lane?
Yes.
Dvorak?
Yes.
Mordini?
Yes.
Motion carries. Go right on to item C, is that what we're at?
Yes,
Yes.
now you can
We
go
just discussed A
ahead.
and B, right?
Yes.
Okay. Item C, consider motion to approve resolution 2016-80 approving annexation.
So moved.
Second.
Go ahead, yeah.
I think it's important to let people know that as long as I've been up here, I don't ever remember a single annexation that wasn't driven by the landowner, as is the case in this one.
Any other comments? Roll call, please.
Anderson?
Yes.
Lane?
Yes.
Dvorak?
Yes.
Mordini?
Yes.
Sarchet?
Yes.
Motion carries. Item,
Welcome to Polk City.
welcome, folks. Yeah, that's quick and easy. We'll go right into the next one. Item 2, public hearing for the consideration petition rezoning approximately 59.4 acres owned by MJR Developments LLC from Ag 1 to single-family detached residential. Now time to close the regular meeting and open public hearing for rezoning for MJR Developments. Ask the clerk when the notice is published.
September 2nd?
Any written comments for or against?
No, sir.
Staff, please provide a report.
Thank you, Your Honor. This is for the MJR development side. The property is annexed, which has just officially been done. It comes in as A1 under our zoning code, and they are asking that this be rezoned to single-family detached residential or R1. You will see that there is the first reading of this, and there's an optional to waive the second and third. That is totally up to council, but there has been zero, and I mean zero, against both the petition for annexation as well as the residential zoning.
Just a comment on the waiving of those readings. We won't want to have the third reading we will want to make sure that ordinance doesn't go into effect until after the annexation is completed.
Okay.
So just keep that in mind as your timing on that.
Okay. Is there anyone present who wishes to be heard for or against the rezoning? Hearing none or seeing none, I need a motion to close the public hearing and reopen the regular meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Lane,
Yes.
Dvorak,
Yes.
Mordini, Sarchet,
Yes.
Anderson.
Yes.
Motion carries. Item A, consider motion to approve the first reading of ordinance 2016-2500 rezoning. Take a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call. A question?
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm
I
sorry.
just think this is falling in line. The fact that they want to come in R1, I think is very important, and glad to hear it.
Roll call.
Sarchet, Anderson,
Yes.
Lane,
Yes.
Dvorak,
Yes.
Mordini.
Motion carries. Item B is an option to waive the second and third reading.
And we should probably wait.
Yeah, I'd
Okay.
wait, and then you could, I don't think you'll have it even the next council meeting, so you could do the second, and waive the third at that point in time in the event by chance you got things back from the Secretary of State and everything was recorded. But I suspect you're going to probably have time to go through the whole 3 readings and may have to wait on that third until you make sure you get all the annexation taken care of.
We're going to take no action on it.
Right.
Okay. Follow Mr. Mahan and welcome Polk City. We look forward to seeing Polk City grow to the north.
Thank you. They're actually going to be residents.
That's even better. That's even better.
So excited to see.
Thank you. Looking forward to seeing you. Item 3, we got rid of the ABCD, but we will give a quick update on Pine Ridge Island. I'll give that over to Mr. Mahana.
Thank you, Mayor. I received today an update, and there was several items that needed to be accomplished by the group that wanted to keep the Pine Ridge Estates Island. One of them was to identify a organization that was filed with the state. If they were going to have an organization and not a neighborhood organization, they ended up with an LLC that has been filed with the Iowa Secretary of State. They also have a federal ID. Bank account's been set up. They have I hate this. They have hired Cooper Crawford for engineering services. The White Law Office has been retained for guidance and legal matters. Shades of Green Landscaping is doing the landscaping work. And they are also sending out communication to Pine Ridge Estates homeowners, talk about the status of the project, facts on the project, and this type of thing. Thank you, sir. They believe that they will have this information at our next meeting, which would be September 26th. And if that in fact is the case, we should have time to act on this and approve. Dave has been in communication, Mr. Dvorak has been in communication with this group, and he has indicated to them, or I think he has, don't want to put words in your mouth. I don't. That we would like to see the plans, and we would like to see the LLC paperwork so we can determine if it fits all of the necessary items that Polk City will need. And I think that's been
It's a review,
communicated.
yeah, for review for council, or for you to review and make sure it's.
That's going to Amy too,
Correct.
right? Okay, yeah, that's, I want to make sure.
So didn't we ask for them to have all this ready by this meeting?
Yes, sir.
I've been in communication, the timeline, and have been keeping up to date, and to be able to do all of that was, I mean, if everything would have worked perfectly, it probably would have. It just didn't fit into 2 weeks. I guess we had 2.5 weeks, but I've been trying, and there's no reason to have it tonight besides the fact that we just said by the next council meeting. There's no.
I get that, but they did commit to that, and nobody's here tonight, which was.
No, he didn't come because I told him not.
Okay.
I talked with Mr. Mahana and Mayor Morse about.
They're working ahead, that's
status.
fine. So I'm understanding this is a summary of what the work that's been done. You know what the suicide turn lane southbound will
I
run?
didn't write. I don't know what that means.
Where did that come from?
I asked the same question.
I don't know what that means.
I don't know what a suicide lane is.
And that actually follows the wording like that. This is where my questions come from, is, first off, if Mike's throwing salt out there and it goes, since it's, I don't know, I call it a bomb, but since it's not an elevated structure anymore, if it catches salt and kills all the plants, are we liable? If the plants grow too tall and somebody gets T-boned out there?
There's still
Are
going to
we
need to
liable?
be an agreement between us and them, because they still don't have a right to be in our
Right.
right of way. So those things will be addressed in any
I
agreement.
mean, there's some crazy liability with signing at the house, but whatever. But
Yeah.
I just want to make sure that the city's protected,
Mhm.
especially if you're going to be calling things like that, which I think it's bad practice.
Anything else on that?
That's all I have on that, sir.
Perfect. We'll look forward to seeing that at the next meeting. Number 4, Monster Dash request. Item A, consider motion to approve the event proposal for Saturday, October 15th, 2016, including use of the square and street closures. Race beginning at 6 p.m. and live music from 7 to 9. Are you speaking to this? Who's speaking to this? Anybody speaking to this?
I can speak to this. We've got a couple street closures that are going to need the square. The street closures are Broadway from
It's the same
First-
route for the, it's the same route for the Four Seasons
Yes.
Festival 5K, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And there's a donation sponsorship that they're also asking for. I just want council to know that we will have overtime with police involved here and about $500 in rental of cones.
All right, so we need a motion on A to approve the event.
So just real quick on this, I mean, seems to make sense. The timing of this, does it also make sense to, we're going to do something hopefully with the playground that would be completed by this? If this is going to be a big enough event, do we merge the two? So therefore pass something like this along to John or someone along those lines, or is that?
This is all being run by Megan with the chamber, that's all I know. Yeah. She's, you talked to her.
Okay.
Take a motion on A.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Dvorak,
Yes.
Mordini,
Yes.
Sarchet,
Yes.
Anderson,
Yes.
Lane.
Yes.
Motion carries. Item B, consider motion to approve.
So part of this event, the chamber has asked us for a sponsorship fee. And typically we give money to do sponsorships like Bike Fest, seasons. And usually when anytime these organizations ask us for money, I usually do a status quo of what we've always done in past. Since this is a new event, status quo, and they are asking us for a sponsorship, and I have included that on the dais for you guys to consider. But other items that have kind of come up as we've discussed this is this is taking more than just monetary funds from the city. It is taking Public Works' time, it's taking the police officers' time. Trace has mentioned that it's gonna be roughly $240 in overtime for the PD. And for Mike's guys, they don't have the barricades needed for it, so it's gonna cost us roughly $500 in barricades.
Is the fire department helping with the route too?
Most likely, and we haven't heard, weren't able to get any info from Dan on what resources he was gonna be out.
Do we know what I mean, so this is raising money for what?
Local breast cancer patients. I kind of say something, I'm all for the event. I was just curious about how much it was gonna end up costing, because my overtime estimate is just for officers to try to manage the race. And if Mike, we were looking at like right around $1,000 in it cost city and barricades, the dividers because if we run that same route as the 5K, we have to put those delineators all the way up Broadway. And that takes about an hour to put those out and an hour to tear them down for 2 people.
Why doesn't it's outside of my realm of expertise, why doesn't the event do that for us instead of running the event?
But like I said, I'm all for it. Sounds like a good event. It's just it's starting to rack up a significant. Mike and I just started talking about one day a significant amount of money on top of a sponsorship for it.
Well, and I know from the festival run, we get it out quite a few months before the event, so, I mean, this is October 15th. It sounds good. I mean, I want to support it from a staffing perspective. I don't know if it's a sponsor.
I think based on what we're talking from a staffing perspective, we should already be listed as a Frankenstein.
Apply Dan's rule of you need to show up if you're asking for money.
Well,
that's what I'm gonna go down for.
I think you bring up a good point. Is that considered sponsorship in itself, or is that just part of being a city?
I'm throwing that out there as my thought, so.
Well, and if the chamber would be willing to take on that expense, then we would be a $500 sponsor, right? So in term.
I think reality, what you're seeing right now with the chamber, and you're gonna start hearing more about this in the next couple months, but is that the chamber is trying to grow. So they are trying to do more events, which some of these events are probably gonna have these sorts of things. But I think the thing from the sponsorship level, again, we've historically sponsored post-prom. I think that's probably been about it. And then like the fallback rate. And I think that we've always kind of said that if we go much beyond that, where do you stop?
Yeah, and we pay chamber dues, so.
I think we should be listed as a primary sponsor just because of the amount of time and resources that we have to put into it.
I agree.
And was I off on this? We were guessing around $1,000 with
Right.
overtime and barricades and delineators.
I think we want to say we absolutely support the event and we're willing to help out.
I mean, I can contact Megan and say this is what we're contributing as a sponsor. Instead of monetary, we're providing the staff and the barricades.
Contribution.
And I think, heck, if nothing else, bring Megan in and have these guys here and have her she'll listen, And part of the reason that they can't do it, I know, just because I've done a couple of their events, they just don't have the help.
Sure. No, I understand. I just said I'm learning too.
I think it's important to encourage people to come, use the town square and bring these events in for the chamber to grow and all that. But in the past, we've been in trouble for, pretty soon we have somebody every month coming down here wanting something, and we try to stir away from that, identify the ones that are really important to us, participate in them, and just tell some people no. And in this case, I think we can send them a letter of what we are doing and what the cost is, and at this time, we choose not to buy a sponsorship. That's just my thought.
But we're still sponsored. I mean, really. Okay. So do we need to do anything on B or do we just let it go?
I don't think, if you're not making any monetary contribution, though that said, you may want to just acknowledge your in-kind contribution through a motion.
Did you just do that?
That's what I said.
I thought that's what you said.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Lane,
Yes.
Dvorak,
Yes.
Mordini,
Yes.
Sarchet, Anderson.
Yes.
Thanks for making that motion, Rob. Appreciate that. Item 7, Mayor's Report. There was a proclamation for Constitution Week of September 17th through the 23rd, which I've already signed. Where's that at? I don't have it sitting in front of me.
It's actually posted right there on the.
Oh, it's posted up there even. So whereas September 17th, 2016 marks the 229th anniversary of the drafting of the Constitution of the United States of America by the Constitutional Convention, and whereas it is fitting and proper to officially recognize this magnificent document and the anniversary of its creation, and whereas it's fitting and proper to officially recognize the patriotic celebrations which will commemorate the occasion, and whereas Public Law 915 guarantees the issuing of a proclamation each year by the President of the United States of America designating September 17th through the 23rd as Constitution Week. Now therefore, I, Jason Morse, Mayor of Polk City, do hereby proclaim September 17th as Constitution Day and the week of September 17th to the 23rd as Constitution Week in Polk City, and ask our citizens to reaffirm the ideals of the framers of the Constitution had in 1787. Got that?
That's fantastic.
There you go. A couple other quick things. I'd like to call a finance meeting on the 26th. I'll ask the two Robs down at the end if they'd be available at 5 or 5:30 would work better.
The 25th?
6th.
26th.
You can be here on the 25th, but I won't be here.
Either's fine with me.
Rob,
Just want you happy.
5 o'clock it is. I appreciate your willingness. The other thing is that Mr. Mahana called note to the housing starts and the status of where we're at so far for the year. I think it's important to note that we're basically another record year, second highest so far since we've been tracking in 2003. Interesting to note is the current valuation and what it continues to do, obviously going in the right direction. I feel pretty lucky to have that here based on some of the other things that are going around in some of the other communities. So we're at, by this writing, we were at 57, and we look forward to new development picking that up. We're at 57 with an average home value of just over 264,000. So good stuff. And the other thing, and unfortunately Dan had to leave, but obviously I want to offer my condolences to the Mike Nelson family. I've known Mike for many years, but I want to thank both the PD and the FD for their hard work last Tuesday, their communication back to me that night that it happened right away to let me know that there had been something that had happened in the community. Obviously it grew like wildfire, and I appreciated the notice as quickly as I could. I don't think in the past we would have necessarily had some of that communication, so I really do appreciate that. And then also just as a whole, I went to both the visitation yesterday and the funeral today, and seen a couple of these here recently and been personally affected by it as well. And it's something to live in a community that comes together in time of need, and I'm pretty proud to be sitting in this chair. So that's all I have. Mr. Mordini.
Well, you kind of stole my thunder. I just basically echoing what you said. I mean, as we sit up here, there's a lot of things going on behind the scenes where things don't always go the way any of us want them to go necessarily. And some back and forth on some different issues, but at the end of the day, I guess it's things like that to remind you how many good things you do have going in a community like this. And there's all kinds of facts that can point to that, but I think what's important to know is at the end of the day, we are in a very, very, very fortunate position compared to just about any community elsewhere. And I think we don't always take the time to see that, so something to think about.
Sergeant.
I would echo my condolences. I came onto the fire department shortly after Mike left, so I didn't know him personally, but by all accounts, it seems like a really good person and a loss for the community. I do have a couple things to change gears completely. I think it was shortly after our meeting last week. I, anyways, received the tax statement, property tax statement, so just wanted to remind everybody to look those over, and especially, I was gonna bring it, so I had a fancy visual aid, but to look at the back, to see where those property tax funds are going, and make sure that, feel that that money is well spent in the areas that it's going to. And then finally, I know Ken had to step out, but emailed Gary earlier, and I think we'll kick off in earnest, hopefully, the neighborhood citizen group that's been kind of smoldering for a while. We sort of put it on hold over the course of the summer, but want to get that group formed and going here, hopefully this month as we get into the fall, and meet with the folks, not in an interview format, but just touch base with them, kind of go over expectations, and hopefully be able to use that group with Ken kind of maintaining his citizen liaison role, but use that group as a good sounding board for different things that may or may not be happening in the different neighborhoods, and come up with the boroughs of Polk City. Maybe that's a nice addition too. Anyways, that's all I got.
Mr. Anderson.
A few things. I'd like to echo what you guys said, and that is the real reason why people move to Polk City, regardless of what we heard in the past. That's what makes our town important. Email from Andy Johnson. I assume everybody got this.
Paper.
Yeah, I don't want to discuss it. I just want to find out if I wasn't.
That's being discussed.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you. And another thing, one of my pet peeves, and it's happening again, or I don't even know who the people are who come to town and dig holes and then just leave them. They're working, I know it's for doing work somewhere, but there's a big one right up on one of our business intersections, Bridge and Tyler, right on the corner. Got it down to one lane, and I don't know what they're doing or why they can't finish, but that's just one of my pet peeves. That's all I'll say about it.
Can I add to Ron's comment there? I actually received a complaint of people not being able to see at that intersection because of the way the signage was, and so I drove up there and the PD or somebody corrected it, but there was definitely an issue with vision there, being able to see cars coming. So I'm not sure what the holdup is, but something needs to be done with that situation.
What are we talking about, Mike?
There's a concrete patch where the church and I can't think of the business name.
Lakefront offices.
Right, they had to connect underneath the street and it's broke up. And that is being repaired here, from what I'm being said, as soon as this week. I thought the concrete or the saw truck showed up today and it didn't, so we're all watching it at the same time. They do know we are pushing. In fact, our guys went up and we shoved barricades off today and put other ones up. Rob, so did you look today?
I haven't. I got some calls this weekend and they said, well, I can't see, and about got hit. And so I drove up there, and sure enough, the barricades that were there, you could not see until you were too late.
We'll look again tomorrow.
If you may have changed exactly what they're talking about.
Okay.
And quite honestly, I quit going that way just because.
It's hard enough when it's irregular intersections.
And I don't know, that seems to happen quite a bit. And like I said, I never know that. I'm sure there's a legitimate reason why, but you dig a hole going in.
Mr. Lane.
That's all I have. Thank you.
Well, not to echo everybody, I also extend my condolences to the Nelson family. I also want to extend my personal congratulations to Dustin Bjornson on his promotion to lieutenant. He is an extremely dedicated individual to this town, not only just to the regular citizens, but especially to the youth of this town. Even seems like the smaller or the younger, the more involved he is. I've watched this for as long as he's been on the force, and I couldn't be more happy for him. That's it.
All right.
Well, one of the bad parts about going last is you have to echo what everybody else says. But
I like going first.
not only did the last 2 days have been kind of a haze over the city, it seemed like, as go to the visitation, the funerals for Mike. And special condolences to the family, but also, thoughts and prayers for moving forward, because they did lose everything at their house. Not only did they lose their father, their spouse, but also everything in their house. So to continue thinking about them as we move forward, but a big loss for the city, and just one more person looking over us, keeping us safe. That's all I got.
Any other council discussion? City Administrator?
I have nothing, Your Honor.
Attorney's report?
Nothing, Your Honor.
Engineers report, not here. Public Works?
There is a scheduled water outage tomorrow at 2 o'clock. We are putting a valve on Broadway Street. We're trying to, we know the town square is going to be affected by the Deer Haven development and the shutoffs there, which could be up to 2 or 3 shutoffs. So we're putting this valve in, one time scheduling it, so then town square at least won't be affected from the numerous ones. We'll still have people affected, but that's what we're doing. 2 to 4, if everything goes good tomorrow.
That's going to alleviate a lot of traffic down there.
Jake? Finance?
Our fiscal 16 audit is set for September 26th, 27th, and 28th, and we'll be using the same audit firm we've used the past 2 years.
So is that the normal audit where they want to get different pseudo city group information, the Firefighters Association?
This is where they go through all of the city finances and look at all of the ins and outs of really all of our finances. The Firefighter Association isn't a part of,
But they've asked for information.
which we've satisfied that from previous years, so they may or may not ask for that this year. We won't really know until they get here.
Okay. I don't think that's any of their business. It's not part of the city fund, so I would, if we can, and it's legal to do so, advocate a little bit firmer stance and want to be as transparent as possible. But the analogy that they used wasn't an apt one, and we can talk about it further, but look into whatever you want as long as it's inside the city responsibility, but that's completely out, and I don't think is anybody's business. Just my 2 cents.
Anything else? Fire Department report? Police Department?
Most of this was in the written report I submitted, but just what we're working on, we worked on last week, is we purged all the evidence and got rid of old evidence and found property we could get rid of. Matt Untrower went to class the previous week as certified evidence technician through IAPE, which is kind of the most noted or renowned association as far as evidence and property standards. And we got everything centralized, logged, and secured the best that we can right now. And that's all in preparation to work hand in hand with Big Creek when it comes to the renovation, because that'll help us determine what kind of spatial needs we'll have. Because we had a lot of old found property that was clogging up a lot of the space that we had. So that's what, if anybody saw a lot of stuff getting hauled out of the PD or saw me at Public Works, my personal pickup, that's what was going on. We worked a lot on that last week. And then we got our charger back over the weekend and picked it up. The new patrol car has all the equipment installed in it, minus a printer. We're waiting on a mount to put the printer in it to print citations and accident reports. And then L3 Communications will be here all day tomorrow, the next day, doing our physical server install and getting the computer in the car program to link up with that. So all of the stuff from when I first started 3 months ago with the car and the technology stuff and the server is finally starting to come to fruition. Our server network area storage is all set up. Jake did a great job working on that for us, and everything's up and running. So hopefully by the end of the day, Wednesday, the new car will be rolling and in service. All computer accoutrements with it will be running the way they should. That's all I have.
Library?
I have nothing.
Just the table.
Just two. Citizen liaison, looks like he had to leave. Item 12, closed session under Code of Iowa, Chapter 21, official meetings open to public. Section 5, closed session, subparagraph 1C, to discuss strategy with counsel in matters that are presently in litigation, or litigation is imminent, or disclosure would likely be prejudiced or disadvantaged the position of the governmental body that is in litigation. I need a motion to a closed session. Take a motion, please.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Lynn,
Yes.
DeVore,
Yes.
Mordini?
Yes.
Sarchet?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Closed session.